Right now, the Google search ranking algorithm is still tracking every click you make, every pause, every scroll, every abandoned query, and the Department of Justice can't stop it. Google built this system to solve one problem: rank the entire internet by relevance instantly for billions of searches a day. It started as PageRank, a math formula counting links like citations in an academic paper. That was 1998. Simple, explainable. A team of engineers could draw it on a whiteboard. That system doesn't exist anymore. What runs today has a name, RankBrain, then BERT, then MUM, a stack of neural networks trained on your behavior, adjusting itself in real time before any human reviews the output. It was built to serve you better results. That's the official story. And it's still running. Here's what nobody at Google will say on the record. No single person can explain why a given page ranks where it does. Not the engineers who built the training pipeline, not the product managers. The system was handed a goal: predict what a user will click and stay on, and it wrote its own rules to get there, adjusting millions of weighted signals no human assigned. Former Google engineers have testified to this directly under oath. The algorithm isn't a program anymore. It's a black box that trains itself on your clicks, your dwell time, your abandoned searches, and nobody, not the people who built it, can fully trace why it buried your business or your article or your name on page 4. That's not a bug. That's the design, and it's still running. In 2020, the Department of Justice sued Google, alleging the search engine illegally maintained its monopoly through default placement deals worth billions a year. In August 2024, Judge Amit Mehta ruled Google is, in fact, a monopolist. A landmark decision, reported everywhere. Here's the part nobody followed up on. The ruling addressed how Google bought its dominance, not what the ranking system actually does once it has that dominance. The remedies phase dragged into 2025 with proposals on data sharing and default contracts. Nothing in that case forces Google to explain, line by line, why the algorithm ranks what it ranks. The court can restructure a business deal. It cannot audit a neural network's weights. The DOJ won the case, and the algorithm, the actual mechanism, is still running untouched. Here's the mechanism that makes it unstoppable, and it's both technical and legal. Technically, the ranking system isn't static code you can print out and hand to a regulator. It's a continuously retrained model, ingesting fresh click-through data every hour, adjusting its own internal weights without a human sign-off on each change. By the time an auditor requested a snapshot, the system that produced yesterday's rankings would already be gone, replaced by a slightly different version trained on today's traffic. There is no fixed artifact to subpoena. Legally, Google has successfully argued in multiple jurisdictions, including before EU regulators enforcing the Digital Markets Act, that the ranking signals themselves are trade secrets, protected from full disclosure even under transparency mandates. Google will hand over summary reports. It will not hand over the model. The DMA requires meaningful information about ranking criteria. Google complies with descriptions of criteria, general categories like relevance and freshness, while the specific neural weights, the actual decision-making math, stay sealed. Regulators get a translation, not the source. That's the loophole. You can mandate transparency about a system and still never see the system because the law asks for an explanation and Google provides one, just not the real one. Multiple regulators have accepted this. Right now, that black box is still tracking, still training, still ranking, and no government agency on Earth has forced it open. Think about what that means for you specifically. Every search you've ever run fed this system. Your click patterns didn't just get you an answer, they retrained the model that decides what the next billion people see. If you run a small business, your entire livelihood might rank or vanish based on signals no one, including Google, can fully explain to you. There's no appeal hearing, no customer service line that reaches an engineer who can say, here's exactly why you dropped. The system that decides what's true, what's relevant, what exists on the internet for practical purposes, is a self-updating machine that outgrew the people who made it, shielded by trade secret law from the one body that ruled its owner a monopolist. So who actually benefits from a ranking system too complex for its own creators to explain, and too legally protected for regulators to inspect? Google's shareholders, certainly. A system nobody can audit is a system nobody can force to change. But ask the harder question. If the DOJ can win an antitrust case and still not touch the algorithm itself, what exactly would it take to make Google explain, in real terms, why you see what you see? And if the answer is nothing, what does that make the thing quietly ranking your entire reality right now?